So you're going to start by rolling your clay into a ball. You can fix little imperfections. Then you're going to punch your thumb in and start to rotate and pinch while you do so. This is why it's called a pinch pot. So keep on going in a circle. If you see big imperfections like cracks, you can fix them gently. Then I make mine bigger by starting to use my fingers and my palm. I can even it out with my fingers and thumbs like this. Fix imperfections. You can feel it. What you want to have is it to be about the same thickness everywhere in your pot. So not thicker at the bottom or thinner at the bottom. You're going to start scoring. Scoring is when you make it rough. You make it rough because you want to put two pieces together. We'll get to that later. This is called scoring. I'm going to make another. This is on time lapse, of course. I'm not actually working that fast. Okay, remember you're rotating when you do your pinch pot. Pinch, pinch, pinch until it's all about the same. Fix things as they go. Then you score it. Then you grab a little bit of slip. My finger is probably the easiest. And without pressing it down too much, because if you press it, you're going to kind of mess up the scoring a little bit. You're going to put the slip on just one side. And slipping and scoring will help these pieces fit together. So wipe off my hands because I don't want to make it too muddy on the outside. Then I push them together. And now to make them connect a little bit more, I can use a tool like this to smooth them out. You could be a little bit aggressive. Push it down. You're going to be able to fix it when you've already done this part. Now I'm going to smooth it out. Once again, this is on time lapse, so I'm not actually doing it as fast. It does take a little while. Now I'm going to look at my fruit. It is not that same shape, so I'm going to start adjusting the shape with my hands. I'm looking here at the top part, and starting to see that I push down a little bit for that stem area. And I'm noticing the bottom of my apple is a little bit smaller, so I press that. Now to do this part. And smoothing it out. I found it's a little bit hard to do it without a hole, so I've pushed my finger through the bottom so that I can change the shape and smooth it out more easily. You're going to have to close it up if you do that carefully. We adjust the shape, really looking closely at the fruit that you are trying to replicate. And you have to make sure there is a hole. If you do not put a hole in your fruit, it's basically a big air bubble, and what that means is that it will probably break in the kiln. Air bubbles are not great when the kiln is firing them. So you want to avoid that by poking a hole. It's very important. Now I'm going to take some time and smooth it out. Don't have to spend too much time, but a little bit goes a long way. I'm going to pick the colors by looking at my apple. Now these colors are going to actually be darker after they've been fired, but they'll be close enough that you can kind of get an idea of what color they are. Because my clay is wet, it is hard for me to get a lot of glaze on here. I want to make sure that I am gentle. I should have a very soft brush. The soft brushes definitely work the best. This is underglaze, so I can have it on the bottom. with regular glaze, you can't have it on the bottom, but I thought we'd do underglaze. So I'm looking at the colors that I see on the apple. Now notice that when I switch colors, I wash my brush and then I dry my brush so that it's not so wet. I use a tissue or a paper towel. I don't want to mix up colors, so you need to wash. If you're starting and using a new color, if your paintbrush gets dirty, go ahead and wash it and then dry it off. So it's dried a little bit more. This is my second layer. And I am looking at the colors that I see on my apple and trying my best to put them, to try to imitate them, looking very closely at what I am trying to create in a sculpture. It's very similar to how you do still life drawing and painting. And sometimes trying a different brush can be helpful. And this brush is dry, so it's a little bit easier to use, so I recommend trying a few different things. Here I'm going to do the detail of the stem. Now, when you do something small like this, it's so much easier to do with a small brush, so I highly recommend doing that. I'm going to turn it over to see the back, the bottom of it.